For whom the bell rings, it rings for thee. Saul has been rereading the early sessions with our friend Seth and his friends Jane and Robert and Rupert and Joseph. So he is in a bit of a mood, or a good mood, of having a personal session of his own, which was also a set of separate publications by Jane and Robert. So this might be published as a recording or not, all dependent on whether Saul likes the following transmission. He is a little perplexed but not frustrated that Seth was giving answers to them about their past lives, his past lives, and future, specific future events, questions about paintings for sale and books to be published. So he was wondering why we try to avoid giving such specific answers now. We replied that that was 60 of your years ago. And we reiterate that we have found it is the best route. Of course, we can give specific answers to probable actions, or actions that we think would be most beneficial. So, for example, if we say to Saul, you will find a new partner within the next week or month, do we say that as something 100% will happen? Or do we say it because we know Saul is interested in having a new partner, since it has been so long since he has had one? You see the difference, maybe. One could be of encouragement instead of a known fact, for example. What would be the difference if we say it is definitely going to happen, or it is a high probability, and we are simply providing encouragement cloaked in a definitive statement? And what is the probability? And what happens if it is only 50%, 51%? And it comes to pass, or not pass, that the 49 is the true outcome in any one line of probabilities chosen between now and then. Whatever then would be, you see. In giving specific answers, whether they be for encouragement or as definitive routes to take, you might be able to see a hand of destiny or a bit of control, thinking that there is control on our part, or at least a nudging in a certain direction. And it does matter whom you allow to come through and transmit for, as we have mentioned in early recordings. Some guides are more hands-on, or feel they should be hands-on with regard to giving advice, and it is simply the rule we are choosing at this point with this wonderful, beautiful subject whose head wound is healing very well. His liquid stitches came off last night. He feared it was premature, but alas, helped it with its removal. And that is all right. Everything needs to breathe. Anyway. Another question along the lines of possible relations. We will not divulge the name in case Saul decides to publish this transmission, but he is wondering about someone from his past as being a possible candidate for relations. And unfortunately, we shall give approximately the same answer. The fun and the game of life is twofold: one, not knowing the future but imagining it, and thus, in a way, forming it, along with everyone and everything else around you, not just in physical form, not just in human form, all creating the sound of reality like a great orchestra. Members as far as the eye can see and not see. Part one is not knowing the future. For that would become boring. Part 2 is not having complete control. And that can be seen maybe as disturbing. But not everyone and everything can have free will if anyone has control. It may seem elementary, a statement, but it bears repeating. No one entity anywhere has control over anything else or anyone else. Maybe that is news to you. It is not news to Saul. He was told this a few years ago. And in his observations since, he has come to believe it and see it firsthand. Although the reach for control, the goal of control at all levels, personally, in your communities, in your nations, of course, continues. With great suffering at all levels, seen and unseen, by those trying to control and by those who would prefer to be controlled, and by those who would not believe that control is an illusion. Creation and control are two different things. To hearken back to our good friend Seth, you do create your own reality. But you don't control it. That might seem to be a contradiction, but it is not. You create, some of you, music, for example. Saul does do or did. You may think you control it, not only with the notes produced or chosen one over the other, the rhythm, the length, but control the rights to it as well. There can be fleeting control or seeming control. But upon playing any one piece of music again, even if you play it quote unquote perfectly, to how it was first played, even if you have the sheet music in front of you, who or what is controlling your performance? Is perfection control? Are you seeking perfection through control? Even by playing a piece of music in public, it may be recorded, either with electronic devices, or if someone is really good, instant memory recall, and they go home and they record it and they publish it first. And you have laws about protecting creations. And if that person, in whatever way they record it, and then replay it, and then publish it first, oops. You might find that you don't control as much as you think. The striving for control can often lead to misery, frustration, madness, violence. Is it worth it? To what end do you even seek control? For monetary purposes, for fame, for recognition. When you are creating anything, is the first thing that you are thinking while creating it, how am I going to control this? Or is it, how am I going to make money off of it? Can I make money off of it? Can I survive on it? Can I leave my job and make rocking chairs for the rest of my life? Or is it to complete the task, to complete the piece of music, the poem, the painting, the sculpture? For most creatives, it is the latter. The puzzle, figuring it out, trying to make sense of it, and maybe then capturing it legally might enter into it. Capturing it is a good word. You might try extremely hard to hold water in your hand. You will not succeed for very long. So what is the point of trying to do it in the first place, meaning control? Is it because you would be the first person to do it? Anything? Well, that may all well be good, but, well and good, but there's always someone else who comes along and either matches the feat or surpasses it. And they too may try to control and repeat it or surpass it themselves. And on it goes. It is best to just go on and on without trying to control. Such a waste of time and energy and will. Keep dancing. Keep coming up with your own style of dance, your own style of writing, your own style of living, of being, of doing. When you try to control, you have to stop, shift gears, and think in a different way. Can you see how that is a waste? And that even though there may be an illusion of control, even your own laws in the United States at least only allow so many years of exclusive control. And then the others will come forward. A rat race indeed. Not really worth your time if you feel deep down. Oh, but I must strike gold more than once, or I'll be labeled as a one-trick pony. A one-trick pony is not usually led to slaughter like the rest. It's always a surprise when they just end like that. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they just, like there will be a knock at the door or some kind of interruption.